Hello and welcome to the latest episode of This Writing Life with myself, Stuart, and with Melissa. We've obviously had a wee bit of a summer break. We decided just to have a few weeks off recording things. So now that the term is up and running again, we are back and you'll be hearing a lot more from us more regularly going forward. We're here today to discuss probably one of the most important things for writers to do, especially if they are, in a very sort of dense sea of writers, if they're looking to make a bit of a splash and stand out a bit, is about taking opportunities. So when opportunities come your way, how we take advantage of those and how we make use of them to further all of our goals and the things that we want to do with our writing. So yeah, I'm here with Melissa today. Hi Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm good, yeah. Glad to be back. September, woo, new year.
New term.
New term, yeah.
Yeah. How was your summer hauls?
It was good, yeah. It was quiet. It always is in publishing though, I think, isn't it? When you're waiting to hear about things, and even I was doing edits on stuff and it still felt quiet because they were saying, I'll just hand it in end of August because everyone's on holiday, which is the same, I think, if you're querying, if you're published, if you're not published, if you're on submission, it's always quiet in summer. So it was quiet, but it was nice.
Yeah. And then you were actually quite lucky. We'll talk a little bit about what happened this week for you in a bit, but you were quite lucky over the summer months or so with your edits because I believe, I don't know if you want to admit this or not, but your edits were quite light. And they weren't too arduous.
No, they weren't actually. It feels a bit like when I get them back and they say, oh, we don't want to change anything apart from the last couple of chapters, and not change a lot in the last couple of chapters. It wasn't like they chose a new ending where now this person died or anything like that. It wasn't dramatic. At first I think, oh, it's such a relief and that's so great. I don't need to do much work because I'm really, really lazy. But then I feel like, oh gosh, is this like a massive flex? I didn't have many edits to do, and it does. But it's because I'm a plotter, guys. Just to plug plotting for a minute there, I'm a plotter, which meant I knew how it was ending before it started because I'm in control. So that's why it was, no, that's not, I write perfect first drafts. I do not write perfect first drafts, but yes, very minimal, lucky.
Yeah, I did have to check myself actually as I was asking you that question because I was like, oh yeah, if I say this, will it come across as a humble brag from Melissa to say I basically had no edits to do, my draft was perfect. Which, of course, no writer wants to hear.
I know. And it's like, obviously, like personally, I was like, this is great. I've got so much less work to do. Because, again, when you plot something, you get paid the same amount of money by your publisher. They buy the book, no matter how many probably edits. I mean, obviously, having less edits might make you more appealing. Goodness knows, I have not asked an editor if that would be more appealing prospect to buy. But you're really trying to think, how many hours of work am I putting into this? And as we all know, it's not that much money that you get over, say, 2 years or whatever spread out. So I was quite happy that there wasn't that much arduous work to do because I was thinking of it from a business perspective as well. So I was quite pleased.
Yeah, your rate per hour went up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's good though. And obviously you have been keeping the book secret a secret for a long, long time. And we've obviously had episodes where we've been chatting about what you've been up to, and you've been like, well, I've been doing this, but I can't talk about it. And I've been doing this and I can't talk about it, and so on. But now you can officially talk about it. So do you want to talk about it?
So I don't actually have a pitch or anything yet because obviously it's worst nightmare is pitch your book and it's just like, not read it, don't remember it. Yes, so I can finally talk about it. I have a traditional deal which is being called an international debut because my last book, my publisher Agora sadly had to close on new books. So I have taken back the rights and I'm self-publishing the Undying Tower trilogy, which is going really nicely. So I have now sold a traditional deal with world rights to Chicken House, My Love, Life and the Apocalypse, which I can finally talk about, which I wrote in June 2020, and sold in April 2021. And it is a dual point of view, romantic road trip, post-apocalyptic road trip, I guess is the best way to describe it. Yeah. And it's very fun and just full of loads of references to TV shows and films and all sorts of stuff, and very nostalgic of sort of 90s and noughties as well. So yes, I can finally talk about it, which is really nice because I just kept forgetting, to be honest. I feel like it was the worst kept secret in publishing. Everyone did a really good job of like practicing their surprise face. They were very good. Shouldn't probably say that. I'll get in trouble, but never mind.
No. Yeah, because obviously I had the honour of reading it. It was before it went through the editing with Chicken House, but
yeah, I think so.
I think it was the draft that you sold to Chicken House that I read.
Yeah, it must be, because I got the job with you guys the same week I sold it to Chicken House.
Yeah.
And so obviously I was talking to you about it then, because it just happened. Yeah.
And I remember you telling me about it and saying, I said, I must read it.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And I did, and I read it so quickly. It was only maybe a week or two. You know, and for me, that's quick, by the way. A lot of people read a book in a day, don't they? But
yeah.
But honestly, if I read your book in like a week or two, that means it's very fast. And yeah, I definitely got those vibes from it. And we were obviously chatting loads about your book, but one of the vibes that I got from it, I got a very like I Am Legend vibe from the start of the book. You know, when they're, I won't say too much, but when they're in the city.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the bit that comes later on, I get more of a Walking Dead sort of vibe.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was definitely watching those when I was unemployed in 2020 and locked in my house like everyone else was. So boring.
Yeah. So there you go. There's two amazing comps to absolutely sell the book. Not that it needs selling. It's, you know.
Well, no, it does need selling, Stuart. I need some money. So please do sell the book as much as you like.
Yeah. No, I know. I'll do my best. So talking of selling the book, it went on pre-order this week.
Yeah.
You also had a simultaneous cover reveal as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us just a wee bit about that, about the process and stuff? Because obviously, people often they just see a cover and a reveal and they don't think too much about how it got to that stage. But how did you collaborate with Chicken House? How did you give ideas? What were your reactions when you first saw the cover? And how has the reaction to the cover sort of online been?
Yeah, so I'm not a very visual thinker. When I say that, I don't mean I'm one of those writers. I know there's that thing that goes round and it's if you imagine an apple on a table. No, I do imagine a really detailed apple, but I could not draw that apple. I can't draw. I can't do, gosh, my art teacher in year 9 trying to get me to do ceramics, and she had to do it all for me because I was so bad. I couldn't make anything work. So I'm really bad at like making things. So I had no visual at all in my head, which I don't know if that's unusual, and other people maybe imagine a cover. Like, I'll be interested to hear about you, because obviously you were more, I guess, in control, quote unquote, of your cover with self-publishing, which is obviously being revealed soon. So I had no control. They did ask me lots of questions throughout. And Michaela Alcano, who is, she's actually, I think she won the Nibby for Cover Designer of the Year 2022. I guess it will be 2021, but she won in the summer. And she basically, I got forwarded an email from her saying that she was in the middle of reading it and she was enjoying it. So she read the whole book, from what I understand, especially from the comparison titles she put online. She said it was Love and Monsters meets Warm Bodies. So I'm pretty sure she read it. And she wasn't just sort of, saying that she read it. So she read it and she wrote to me and asked, could she have a Pinterest board or similar of the two main characters? So I knew, because it's a romance story, they were going to put the two main characters on the cover. And I did that. I made a little Pinterest board, and I was very specific about, it's not really about how they look, but it's about how they stand and how they are. But I did put in a couple of just actors is what I did. So I picked out some actors, some teen actors I really liked, and put them up, and then she drew the cover based on that. And I wasn't expecting it to have the road in there or anything like that. They showed me different colors. So the cover's red, but they showed me an orange one and a blue one. They explained why. So an interesting thing, I don't know if I should probably say this, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway. An interesting thing is they said that lots of covers are blue, apparently, within my genre, within my age group. So they thought a red cover would stand out more. Not sure exactly where that comes from, but that's why you have a marketing people, I guess, who know what they're talking about. Because the blue cover looked lovely, but I saw what she meant. It was sort of familiar, is how they called it over at Chicken House. So yeah, we just went through and looked through all these different things, and she drew the two characters and they looked great, and they looked pretty similar to what I had envisioned. And then she came up with the whole concept of the road that's sort of wasting away, and it's a road trip book. So I thought that was really clever. So to be honest, I don't know what would have happened if I didn't like it, because I'll be completely honest, I liked it immediately. So I don't know what would have happened if they'd showed me and I'd said no. But then again, I had nothing in my head. So maybe it was an easy decision to say yes, because I knew that there was this really professional cover artist who'd read the book and loved the book and told me that and asked me for input. So I knew it was going to be good no matter what she came out with. So that prepped me and I didn't feel worried about it, which was really nice. So yeah, I had input, but also I was quite happy with what they came up with. So I didn't really change anything.
Yeah, and it is stunning. If you go to Michaela's website and you look at all the other covers as well, they are amazing. Like, there's so many good ones on there.
She's so good.
I remember when you said she was going to do your cover, I went on her website and looked at it. It's out of this world. It's so good. So you got to collaborate quite a lot by the sounds of it. Quite a lot of input. Quite a lot of giving your final vote on different things, which is good. That's what you want to be, I think. You know, a nice collaborative process. So you revealed it on Monday, which was really well received. Do you want to tell us a bit about, like, how did you feel in the lead up to it being revealed, and then how did you feel in response to how everyone reacted to it?
Yeah. So I was a bit nervous about the reveal, and I will say we were going to reveal it, and I'd put this on my TikTok and stuff anyway, so people will know this. I was going to reveal it last Friday, which would have been the day after the Queen died. And obviously we're in the UK, and I had a phone call with the PR team on the Thursday, and they said, you know, what do you want to do? And this was before the announcement had been made that she died, because I think that was in the evening. So they called me during the workday. And I said, look, I think it's probably a good idea this is not the sort of thing I want to be shouting out on social media right now for various different reasons. And it just didn't feel like the right time. So we moved it to the following Monday, and they had 3 TikTokers involved, which are, let's try and remember this, on TikTok, Library of Calcifer, all one word, Library of Lena with dots between either side of, and the _ caffeinated reader, all one word. And they revealed the cover, which was great. I'm really nice. And what's really nice is that I didn't realize, because I didn't particularly follow them before. I've been trying so hard to try more on TikTok, but I always feel really old. But now I follow them, and it's great because they do seem really into, like, I know that Angelina, Library of Lena, she is really into cartoon covers for romance books, for instance. So it seemed like a really good fit. And I know that Holly, Caffeinated Reader, and Cal, Library of Calcifer, have been talking about the book on each of their TikToks, saying, oh, it's like it was written for us. So Chicken House obviously did a bit of research to find out who to get for that. So that was great. So we did that on the Monday. They were happy to move it. They were really good about it. Everyone was fine. Obviously, it's just events beyond your control. And yeah, it was amazing. Like, I was quite surprised because I wasn't sure if maybe Friday's a particular day. Again, I don't do marketing. I don't know if you're supposed to do it on a Friday. And there's this whole thing about pre-orders, which of course is different to self-pub, where pre-orders with traditional publishing, if people don't know, everything that's sold in the first week of sales, it also includes pre-orders. So they like to release the cover at the same time as doing the pre-orders to get it all into one big block. So I was a bit worried about that. Will that create a lot of pre-orders if it's on a Monday? But no, it had a really good reaction. It had like hundreds of likes, and it was so nice, and people retweeting and saying that they were pre-ordering it. And then I noticed on Amazon it was climbing a bit, which, I'll be honest, I'll get real now. Amazon is a bit of a weird mystery. It seems to be sometimes your book is just at the top of a chart, even though it hasn't. I now know, because I'm self-published, sometimes my book will be quite high in the chart but hasn't sold for a couple of days. So don't know exactly how it works, but it was quite nice to see suddenly the categories kicked in, the really weird categories like how things work and technology for young adults. And it started pushing up that chart. So something was happening. But yeah, it was just really nice. Like, I was really shocked how nice the reaction was and how many people were really supportive, even though that's a stupid thing to say, because I have really nice friends and we have the whole hub. And so I don't know why I was so surprised, but I was still surprised.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, because you got to, was it the technology for young adults that you were number one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Very technical, my book. It's so real.
Well, to be fair, like, I think the opening scene, he has a handbook, doesn't he?
He does have a hand. Yeah, exactly. So it's super learning. Like, read my book, guys. It'll teach you so much extra special learning stuff. It's basically nonfiction, so it's not nonfiction.
but I think in more in the categories you'd expect. I saw that you were number 2 in a few of those. Yeah,
which was really, like, just bonkers. Like, I saw the How Things Work one was interesting because it has like Mortal Engines on there, and I was like in between some of the Mortal Engines books,
weren't you, for the Mortal Engines?
Which is crazy. So yeah, it was just crazy. Like, I can't even, it was just mad. I didn't expect it to be pop off as much as it did. And it was quite nice also seeing it reach friends of friends and bloggers, like so many bloggers. I got like 50 more followers. Most of them are amazing book bloggers and stuff that I didn't know yet. So it was really nice to follow them back and see them. So obviously they're interested in the book. So yeah, I mean, we're still 7 months out, of course.
Yeah.
But it was very nice to see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And talking, because obviously we're talking about taking opportunities in this episode. I believe, if I'm getting this right, that you started this novel when you took an opportunity to do a course.
Yeah. So, I say I wrote it in June 2020, but I do loads of plotting, which I've talked about on this podcast and other podcasts because I'm obsessive several times. So if anyone wants to hear about that, we're not getting into that because I'll be here for an hour. But I started on, I very, very first probably was a short story about climate change based off a newspaper article, which was... it was Danielle Joando, who was teaching at Manchester for the WriteMentor weekend that we did in early January before the pandemic hit. And I wrote a short story based on a headline, which was about climate change. And that's ended up in the book as a flashback, which obviously I can't, you guys won't really know what I'm talking about. But one day you'll come back and you'll realize what I was talking about. And then I decided to develop the character. I did a course with Alexandra Shepherd, who was doing a course with us at the time. I think it was about character. I'm trying to quite remember now. I think it was about character. And I developed those two characters of Echo and Pandora, who are the dual point of view in the book. So I developed that on that course in February. Then I started working on the plot plan because I'd actually also, which is actually really cheeky of me now I think about it. And Alex, you should have told me, like, no, I'm not doing this extra work. But because I got so into it, I started plotting on that course and I started putting in like a 5-point plan and then a 10-point plan. And I would send that along with the homework to Alex, and bless her, she would actually mark it up for me and be like, yeah, this sounds really good. And like give me loads of encouragement, which she really shouldn't have done. Alex, next time tell me to not do that and to go away. And yeah, she really should have done. So that was really great. And so I had loads of encouragement from that and loads of friends from that course, like Sue Cunningham, who then I went on to like mentor. Was that same year? She did that course with me. Oh, it was really interesting. Anyway. Yeah, I got it started there, took the opportunity to do that. It was, I think, about to go, that course, or there was some weird credit system on the WriteMentor website. And Stuart was like, you have credits built up and we're switching to a different system. You could get this course for 20 quid if you want the space. And I was like, yeah, go on then. It was like really last minute I decided to do it. So yeah, that it pretty much built from there. And that was the months I took till June to plot that book. And it wouldn't have been, I don't think, without Alex's course and the stuff I learned on that course about character wants and needs and stuff, because it's such a character hyper-focused book. I've only ever done books before with huge casts. So it would never have been the book it was without Alex, definitely.
Yeah. And I think that's important for writers. Like sometimes we can get stuck with our processes and the way we write and the things we do. And sometimes we do need to just like do a wee course or a wee session, or, you know, speak to other writers or work with other writers to sort of see things from a different point of view and to get new ideas and new ways of doing what you already do. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a nice wee a cyclical thing, especially as obviously you've gone on to now you work with WriteMentor, and you know it's all come together quite nicely, I think, just from taking those opportunities. So.
And I so nearly didn't apply for the WriteMentor job as well, speaking of opportunities, because I was down on my luck. I'd been unemployed. I was on universal credit. I had worked for my family business. So it wasn't like, sounds quite dramatic. I was really lucky. I had a partner that was working. I worked in my family business, and my dad basically said, we can't support you as well as us during this pandemic. There's just not enough work. It's payroll. It was in offices. Offices were closed. So I took a step back and had universal credit there, which was up at the time, a little bit more than it is now. And I'd worked out I was going to run out of money the following April because I was in slight deficit every month with credit card bills, stuff like that. So I started doing editing online, and that gave me a bit of a cushion, but that cushion kept running out. And then you advertised the WriteMentor job, and I so nearly didn't apply for it because I was just thinking, oh, I don't know if I can, this will sound, actually, no, I'm just going to say it because I'm a control freak. I was like, I can't work with other people. Are you kidding me? I always work on my own. Like, I can't just, who is Stuart and Florian anyway? I obviously work for me and me only. So I was really worried about applying, and I was really shocked when I got an interview because I was like, oh my gosh. And again, I probably had another panic thinking, do I want to take the job? Because I just worked on my own for such a long time. So yeah, that was another opportunity that I took. And then, same week I sold to Chicken House. That was nuts. And that was in April as I was about to run out of money. And like 100 quid in my account or something.
And it's funny because, and you know, just on that theme of, you know, taking opportunities. Part of that, though, is that you created, you know, the opportunity for yourself by being so involved with WriteMentor throughout. you were obviously a volunteer mentor for a long time, and you still are. You whenever we did things, you were often one of the people that, wanted to sign up and to take part and to, do various things. And so when I chatted to you about the job, you knew so much about WriteMentor.
Yeah.
That made my decision much easier, because I was like, well, I want someone who's passionate about what we do and who gets involved in everything and knows, what our ethos is like and so on. And so, yeah, in actual fact, you're taking those opportunities, then created one for you further down the line. And I think for writers, where writing is unlikely to be your main gig.
Yeah.
And you want to maybe do other gigs within the industry or maybe not, whatever it might be, but just, participating in things and going for things and taking opportunities. You just never know where it will lead, and so it's always worth, I think, when the opportunity comes up, just having a go, even if you're not 100% sure. Like, obviously you said you were about the job with us. So
no, I was really, really nervous about it. And I think people don't realize I'm actually quite a shy person. I know I'm always mouthing off on the podcast. People are like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's because I'm literally just talking to Stuart, guys. I'm not talking to you. You're not here. It's just me and Stuart having a conversation. So it's like a bit less stressful. But actually doing small opportunities like that, especially online, Kidlit community is so friendly. It's a lot less stressful. And I've spoken to people in the hub about this as well, that you're just doing small things with your friends. That's how you think about it. And it can grow into bigger things. And it's a much more gentle path, as opposed to maybe being thrown in the deep end, especially when you guys do sell your book or do go on to self-publish and then you're suddenly doing events. You want a little bit of practice first. So I would always say definitely go for stuff, even if it seems a little bit scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let your own, don't let yourself stand in your own way.
Yeah.
Just get over it. Send the work out. Apply for the thing. Do the thing. Try and improve. Just do whatever opportunities come your way. And I'm actually guilty of not always doing that as well.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of competitions at the start of this year, like Times Chicken House and blah 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 blah, and I should have just entered them. But for some reason, at that point, how sometimes your mindset sort of changes and things.
Yeah.
At that point, I was just like, no, I'm not going to enter anything. I'm not going to, blah, blah, blah. There's no point because, and I was going through a bit of a phase like that. And yeah, of course, you usually regret it later. When you see, I saw the Chicken House long list the other day, and there was the long list for a few other competitions as well earlier in the year. And I was like, why didn't I just go for that? Because you never know.
Exactly. And I think sometimes you persuade yourself not to do it because I've taken some opportunities and they didn't pay off. Well, yeah, I've taken loads of opportunities before and nothing's I say come of it, but actually when you look back, usually there's stuff that you learn from every single one, even if it was a failure, that you've definitely taken forward, which is always easy to say from the other end of the fence. And I totally get it that if I've just said that and it's really annoying, it is really annoying. I absolutely understand that. But you do look back and see the things, oh, I learned that from doing that. Oh, I met those people because I failed at this thing. So yeah, I think it's always worth taking the opportunity, because even if you fail, there's something in it, but you might not fail. And even if you failed at the other opportunities, it doesn't mean that you can persuade yourself, I think, oh, well, then I shouldn't take opportunities because I always fail.
Yeah. And I think we are as a society a little bit drawn into the whole like sort of pop idol or X Factor style stories where someone who's never ever done a day's training vocally or has never done a gig or has never sung in front of anyone but their mum suddenly stands up on a stage in front of thousands of people and blows out the park and wins X Factor and becomes a superstar. Like that's unfortunately just how for 99.9% of people it doesn't work. Most like musicians, if we're using that analogy, they do all the gigs, they do the thousands of hours of practice, they go to the open mics, they show up as support acts and get paid next to nothing just to sort of hone their craft, take those opportunities, and eventually a bigger opportunity comes as a result of all those smaller ones. Yeah, and it's a cumulative thing. And I think writing is like that. Like when you sometimes people are offered like IP work, for example. Like contract work, where they don't write their own story, they write to a set script that the publisher have given them, whatever, and that's their way in. Yeah, I know a couple of writers like that, and then once they're in with the publisher, they'll then start accepting their own original work, and that's their way into the publishing industry. And yeah, there's lots of ways. Competitions, obviously, the summer mentoring program we offer as well helps you a little bit with that. Because we have our agent showcase at the end and such things. So, there are opportunities, and I just think that one of the most important things for us as writers to do is to always go for them when they come up.
Yeah, I think building ahead of steam's no bad thing, but I think with debut culture, how it has been for quite a long time, it can feel like, no, the first thing I write has to be the perfect thing and I can't move on to the next project because this is the one thing. And people do, yeah, of course we all love like an overnight success story. And of course, you know, thinking about people who, I always think of it as like buying a ticket for the lottery. So I'm like, well, if you buy a lottery ticket, obviously there's a chance that your first ever lottery ticket, of course you have a chance of winning because you have a lottery ticket. So you could win on the first go, but you're probably not going to win on the first go. And that's okay. Most people don't win on the first go. I had a book and The Undying Tower came out with a smaller publisher and no advance. And they were lovely and amazing. And then very sadly weren't able to publish the rest of them. And at that point felt really low. And, you know, I've had 5 years with an agency, 2 different agents, failed on submission a couple of times. And it's really, really hard. And I've been in tears before and not wanted to carry on doing it. And I've taken breaks. I'm not going to say don't give up because we hate that. And you can totally take a break and you can give yourself some time. And that's really important if it's not for you. But also taking opportunities, I don't see it as a don't give up or give up thing. It's accepting I still might not make it on this, but I've got to try and give it a go on this thing. Especially if you can, because obviously I understand not everyone can enter every competition. And I used to set myself a budget of £300 a year. I think I've said it on here before for all the competitions, which is a lot of money. But that's what I would set because I knew I could afford just shy of £30 a month. And I was like, okay, about £300. And, you know, that would only really cover me for maybe 10 competitions with some of them being quite expensive. But, you know, I decided to do that. And I thought £300 is maybe, you know, 10 takeaways or, you know, and I was willing to, I'll sacrifice that to do this because I've got to give it a go. And yeah, it's really tough when your mum's there. Oh, you'll definitely win because you're on the long list. And then of course you do not. And you're trying to explain, no, mother, this is very unlikely. But yeah, you've got to put yourself out there or else obviously it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen 100% of the time with the opportunities you don't take, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was interesting what you were saying there about the lottery ticket analogy. And it's a good one because you might so let's say you write your first book and you get signed by a publisher and, you know, it goes stratospheric and like everything goes well and so on.
Yeah.
Like if you take it back to the lottery thing, it's like winning the lottery on your first ticket.
Yeah.
And then where do you go from there?
Yeah.
The chances of you winning that big again is pretty much non-existent.
Yeah.
And then you might lose the motivation to keep buying your lottery ticket or to keep producing your books because you're just like, well, what's the point? I'm never going to produce anything as good again.
Yeah.
And actually, what you were saying there about, you know, having 2 books failed in submission, different agents, you know, your publisher folding, you know, all these different things, they actually then make this moment where you're having this book published all the sweeter, all, you know, you enjoy it all the more, I think, because, you know, you appreciate it having had the things that have happened before.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't compare because I can't go back in time, erase my, you know, thought process and all of the memories of this and then do it the other way around. And obviously, like, would I have said, no, sorry, I know you're offering me 6 figures on my first book, but I must decline so that I can have the true experience of building a but yeah, I think it was my agent, Lucy Irvine, she said to me about building the head of steam. She was like, it's really important to build a head of steam, like chill your boots, basically. It's when because, you know, you're really excited and you've sold something and maybe I can do something else and maybe we should try for a different book. And she said, come on now, let's give it some time to build a head of steam. And I think, it's also a lot more this sort of second time round, but also I've kind of got a second bite of the cherry in a weird way because they're considering it an international debut. My first book deal, according to, say, the Society of Authors and a couple of other places, isn't considered a traditional deal because I didn't get the advance. I had higher royalties and no advance, and mostly digital, and it was print on demand, not print runs. And so there are certain rules about that, which seems really arbitrary and silly. And it is a bit arbitrary and silly, don't get me wrong. But I'm considered now a debut again, and I've joined this other lovely debut group, and I feel like an imposter every day. And I'm always like, I'm so sorry I'm here. I'm always apologizing for being sat there. And of course, everyone's really nice. And like, no, of course, like, you're very welcome here because Kidlet's so nice. But yeah, it does feel like a little bit calmer this time. I've got a little bit more information under my belt. I've got a bit more experience. I'm not expecting certain things, but also I am expecting other things. And I know my own worth now. So it's not just, oh, I'm so pessimistic, I assume like this will happen, or these sales, because I'm comparing it to, say, a different book. It's also like, no, I know that I can talk to the editor. I shouldn't be frightened of talking to the editor. They're fine to talk to me, and I am worth like 10 minutes of their time. Not that at Chicken House, Kezia has been great, as has Laura Myers, who is my book manager. They're awesome, and they always reply to my emails. But, you know, I set up a once monthly catch up with them. which is fine and great. And it's great to be able to know that I can do that. So there is a little bit more of having a bit more confidence, I think, going into it, even if things don't necessarily go the way I want them to, because I've been here before-ish. So I think that's another thing. So you can maybe enjoy it more because you know where things go and how it all works now. So
yeah. Oh, we're all so excited about it. Roll on April. In the more immediate term, though, because I'm conscious that time's rolling on.
Yeah.
We were going to chat a little bit about the probably one of the biggest opportunities of the year that comes up in the Kidlit community, which is to go to our conference, WOWCON.
The biggest.
Yeah.
Not probably.
So we've obviously, at the time of recording this, is Thursday the 15th, we're recording this, and I'll probably put this out tomorrow, Friday the 16th. So
right.
At the time you're listening to this, you've got a week to go until WOWCON comes around. And obviously, as I say, it's the biggest event of the year. The lineup we have got this year is amazing.
Yeah.
It's honestly so good. I was, just before we come on here, I was having a quick look through all, every person's workshop and talk and keynote and so on, and I was just like for what you're paying as well for it, you're getting access to so much stuff. Like, I couldn't believe, like, I was just reminding myself, so the £12 basic ticket for the conference gets you the 6 hours of keynotes, it gets you one of the panels, and it also gets you access to the community, on Slack, and our Saturday night party, and and so, like, I just don't know where you would get, like, that's the best part of 8-9 hours content for £12.
Yeah, and speaking as well about opportunities costing money, which we were just mentioning, this is something that we really hope we've made really affordable, and you get so much for just that £12, and you don't have to also factor in things like traveling, which is a really, really big cost. It usually costs more than the ticket to the event that you're going to.
Yeah, and accommodation and food, you don't have to worry about buying all those things. Because I've seen other events online that are 1 hour, and you're talking sort of £30-40 to attend them.
Yeah.
And it's for 1 hour with that one event, and you're getting all that for for less than that.
Yep.
I don't know. And we bear in mind as well, we've also given scholarships to some writers, some scholarships for the entire conference, for agent one-to-ones and so on. So we have we've done all that stuff to make it a little bit more accessible. But for the majority of people, £12 is about doable. And I know times are tough at the moment, but I just think it's a really amazing opportunity. So if and I know this is a bit of a self-promo plug here, you can probably tell by the change.
To be fair.
You see the change in my tone of voice, but like, you should really go along if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just reading through the keynotes just now. We've got Rachel Bright, of course, who's a prolific picture book writer, the creator of Love Monster, who, those of you with kids, you'll have seen that all over CBeebies. I think she still co-produces and writes that show as well.
Whoa.
She's produced an amazing video. We've got Serena Patel, who you all definitely know.
Yeah.
Who's very much in the Twitter sphere, big part of the Kidlit community. And obviously wrote the brilliant Anisha books.
Yeah, new one out today, I think.
Is it today? Wow.
I think there's a 6th one out today.
Wow. Again, so prolific.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was at 2018 that Serena was in the Undiscovered Voices for the SCBWI.
Yeah, opportunity.
And, I know that's. I might have got that wrong. I think it's 2018, but
yeah, it's not long ago.
Regardless, 4 years, and she's got 6 books out because she took that one opportunity.
Yeah.
So again, that's brilliant. We've got Ross Montgomery, who we've chatted to before, and we know him. He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Former primary school teacher, so he's really engaging on his video. You'll love his keynote talk. We've got Kieran Millwood Hargrave as well, who obviously I don't think anyone won't have heard of her.
Huge bestseller across so many different genres, age groups. She has adult books as well now. Yeah.
And again, video is amazing. It's well worth a watch. We've got Jasmine Richards, who's doing talking about storytelling and how that's her form of activism and so on. She's so passionate and intelligent, and she's obviously the founder of Story Mix as well, which has launched the careers of many other authors too. And she's providing opportunities for them. And then Amy Flown as well, the director of Nights of, which again is another amazing organisation who specialise in giving opportunities to underrepresented voices within our industry.
Children's Publisher of the Year, I believe, at the Nibbies.
Yes,
Nice
exactly. And they publish so many great authors that we know as well. And hers is about raising every voice, which is obviously a hugely important message. And obviously it fits in nicely with our Elevate sort of theme for the whole conference. But I mean, honestly, I could sit here and read through every single thing that we're doing in the conference, and all of them are amazing opportunities. And I'm not going to, because we'd be here until it's pick up time for my daughter at school. But but yeah, there's so many more. Please have a wee look through the website and see which opportunity suits you as well, because it's all flexible, so you don't have to sign up to everything. You can sign up and pick and choose the opportunities that are best for you.
Yes, exactly. And then it could be exactly like me coming up with this idea on one quick little course I did. And I came up with an idea for a book, and it ended up selling. So, you'd be really surprised the parts of your brain it will open as well. Have a really good look through, think about what you want to work on. There's something for everyone, published, not published, agented, not agented. I really feel like we tried really hard this year to make sure there was something for every stage. Yeah.
So if you've just signed with an agent, if you've just got your first book deal, there is stuff in there for you that you're going to find that will benefit you. And even if you're quite an experienced writer, we have got a lot of very experienced writers that leading workshops, for example, or doing talks where you would learn a lot from them as well. So do check them out. And the I don't know, I was about to say something French there, but I'm just I was about to say it, I said it in my head, and I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. So the cherry on top of the cake, I'll say something in English, is that there are 2 panels with our very own Melissa. So
exciting. The piece de resistance, Stuart, was that it?
That was it,
yeah.
I had no idea. That was one of those things I could say it in my head, but when I actually came to say it with my lips, I was like, I'm definitely going to say this wrong. And it's the Scottish accent too. Like, I always think, see, when you speak French, should you put on a French accent or just speak in your own accent?
Oh, I don't know. Ask my French teacher at school, who accused me of Mancunian French. But yes, I'm on 2 panels. I'm really excited. We have a hub panel, which I can't remember if people are signing up to or whether it's included in one of the tickets. I can't remember.
The hub panel's included in all the tickets.
Yes. So we've got a hub panel talking to 3 people from the hub. One prolific writer, Rachel Davis, and then we also have a debut author, Sarah Daniels, and then we have the amazing Katina Wright, who has just finished one of her first drafts. She's one of the biggest names, I would say, in the hub. She's like a celebrity in the hub, and she's always helping people out and chatting. So it's a really, really fun panel with writers at different stages of their career. And then I also just did one where I managed to persuade Stuart somehow to just let me invite all my friends onto a Zoom call and record it. It was great. So it's me, Georgia Bowers, Cynthia Murphy, who recently went viral on TikTok with Win, Lose, Kill, Die, her book, and also Naomi Gibson, who wrote Every Line of You. Georgia wrote Mark of the Wicked, and we're on a debut group together. So we just chat. It's a bit like Show Me the Real Author, to be honest. It rolls on for way too long. We're chatting about pretty embarrassing stuff. So if you want to come and just see us chatting, then definitely come along to that one. It's a really fun one.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, like that's the thing, and you get a sense of the real people behind the writers, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Almost too much, maybe, on our panels. So I do worry a little bit about that, because I never watch these things back, guys. I just talk and then hope I've not said anything too incriminating. So we'll see. But if you want to come and see me, say some embarrassing stuff to other authors who also say some embarrassing stuff, come along. Yeah, it's good.
But I genuinely think the most engaging content is the most natural content. Like, you see so much on TikTok and YouTube and stuff these days, which is so heavily edited.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it just doesn't feel natural.
No.
Whereas that's what I like. And I always encourage people who are recording things for us to do it in one take.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and do over and over and over again until it's perfect. Just do it in one take. We want you for everything, for your imperfections and your flaws and your mistakes. We want all of that, because that's what makes a whole rounded person.
Yeah.
As we all know from writing our characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So that's WOWCON, which is obviously our biggest opportunity of the year, and it's coming up next week. So I'll put a wee link into the section below the podcast, just so that people can sign up for that as well. Okay, so yeah, that was so nice chatting to you, Melissa. It's been a while since we did this.
I know, it's so fun as well, and we were just like trying to find time because on the lead up to WOWCON we're so busy. But I'm really glad we found the time. Actually, that was really fun.
Yeah, because next week's going to be busy, so it'll probably be a couple of weeks before we're back on one of these again. But thanks for joining us again, everyone, and listening to us. If you've got this far, we're nearly at 40 minutes. Thank you for joining us all the way through to the end. And obviously, we encourage you to keep going with your writing. We hope that things are going well for you, and you can reach out to us anytime. Obviously, if you want to chat about anything on the whole writing life sphere. We quite like it when we do the tweets, don't we? And we get to discuss those in the episode. So we'll maybe do that for next time.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, folks. See you next time. Bye now.